It was a great honour. Then we started going through the list of duties I'd have to do, and you heard this one. I thought it'd be better off asking someone else. They offered me 20 quid to do it. I said, no, Dave, I'm not a man who can bore. They offered me 40 quid. Anyway, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Matt, and I've got the privilege of being Dave's best man today. I've known Dave for a number of years, since the start of secondary school, back when he was a bit naive, socially a bit different, and with a weird dress sense. Not much has changed, really. Before I really begin today, I just want to say how smashing the bridesmaids look.
Yay.
And they're only rightly outshone by our bride, Michelle. Credit must go to all the bridesmaids for curing Michelle's wedding day nerves, although a couple of bottles of wine this morning helped things along. So when Dave asked me to be best man, I felt a mixture of pride and panic. I thought, I wasn't keen on standing in front of you all today and speaking. So I thought, what am I going to talk about with Dave? And asked around, and people said to me, well, just wait for the stag do. Because, the stag is always drunk, he's always falling over the place, doing silly things. I'm still waiting. Dave was quite possibly the most embarrassing stag in the history of stag do's. He was more than happy wearing anything we gave him, whatever gender. But even when it come down to drinking a shot of Guinness in the home of Ireland, Dave said no. In fact, he actually got beaten in a drinking contest by a dear old lady named Mary, who I think was celebrating her 80th birthday or something. As most of you know, Dave lacks a bit of common sense and general knowledge at times, and that roughly translates to his musical knowledge. Apart from his early days, he went through a little grunter phase with his black spiky hair, and he's listened to his Ministry of Sound 2004 album on repeat. In fact, today will be the first time you see a groom dancing to his wedding song where he has no idea who actually sings it. However, he wouldn't even been dancing to a love song today had Michelle not intervened. So I'm told that Michelle actually asked Dave for some suggestions for their first dance, and Dave has a think, and in typical Dave style, he says, "Okay, how about Lionel Richie All Night Long?" Michelle said, "It's not really the right kind of theme, Dave. Like, that's a wedding first dance." And he said, "All right, okay." She says, "Have another think." He goes, "Okay. I've got it. Really like this one. How about Boys to Men, End of the Road?" Yes, the famous breakup song. Most that know Dave know of his love of sport. Dave is one of those guys that will turn his hand to any sport. Football, cricket, tennis, golf. Isn't it really annoying, those guys that are just good at every sport? Luckily, that's certainly not Dave. It's not every day you get beaten by your mum at golf. In fact, there's many stories I can tell you about Dave on the golf course. This is a good one. So, Dave and I were playing golf. Nice sunny day over Cranham. Dave's out there, he's backwards, forward, practicing his swing on the first tee, visualising his shot 10 minutes later, and a voice comes over the tannoy and says, "Would the gentleman on the ladies' tee please back up to the men's tee?" So, with my speech today, trying to think of some good stories, and I thought, who better to ask than Michelle? And naturally, she had many, but we've gone with my personal favourite. So Dave and Michelle were out in London one night, and they were at a bar, just having a drink together, and they noticed this guy and girl opposite who were staring at them. And Dave turns to Michelle and says, "Well, she's probably looking at me because she probably fancies me. To which, naturally, Michelle looked at Dave and went like, don't be stupid, Dave. Anyway, a few minutes later, the guy and the girl actually walk over to Dave and Michelle, and the girl says to Dave, we're just wondering, who would you rather go for, me or him? To which Michelle high-fives the girl. Dave, he's not got a clue what's going on here. And a few seconds later, penny drops, and he says, well, you obviously, to the girl, which led to the guy head in his hand saying, I can't believe it. It's the first time in 4 years my gaydar's been wrong. So Michelle said, like, why do you think he was gay? And then the guy said, well, like that bright, tight pink t-shirt he's wearing, that silly little pout he does. And with a girl, imagine he's the gay best friend of. There's many stories I wanted to share with you about Dave. He's banned me from most of them pre-2007, so we're going to go with a select few, a few gems. Dave once bought his mum a Mother's Day card. Happy Mother's Day to my dear wife. In the early days of Dave and Michelle, when Dave was chatting her up on MSN. Just gone off. Oh no, sorry. Dave told Michelle that he's 6 foot. And then there's the story of how first. We'll leave that. This says Romford alleyway on here, but that's referring to. Sorry, Ron. So, as is customary, it's my duty to offer a few words of wisdom for Dave and Michelle. And best man usually has to trawl across the web and get some ideas or things to say. Luckily, I didn't have to do any of that because Dave and Michelle actually attended a pre-marriage course, and it was a counselling course where the kind of thing that the church offers, and generally, I might stay with this. Generally, people say no. What do wrong? Okay. So the kind of thing that the church offer, naturally, people say no, don't worry about it. Dave and Michelle obviously went to the course, and I'm lucky enough to be in possession of the workbook. So this was hard to get, and it's got Michelle's notes in it. And I've had a really good read, And I picked out a few favourites, which I'd share with you both, and a bit of advice for you both. So firstly, we've got treat marriage like a 50-50 partnership. So Michelle's actually wrote next to this, if Dave really believes that, he knows nothing about me or indeed fractions. Forgiveness is first and foremost a choice, not a wrong. Love keeps no record of wrongs. Michelle's actually got a line through this, and she said, Michelle keeps record of all of Dave's wrongs. And we've got finally, never go to bed on an argument. Michelle's put always stay up and argue. But my favourite part, and something's very wrong here. So Michelle and Dave, they've listed out their current roles and responsibilities in their relationship today. And next to each role, they've listed out who does what. And next to DIY, decorating, and manual labour, we've got Michelle. And next to ironing and washing the dishes, we've got Dave. So, Ron, this is the man that you've just handed your daughter over to today. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, now it's time for some sincere stuff. And I could genuinely stand here all day and talk about Dave in this regard. Dave, you've been a best friend to me over the years, helped me through a number of times in my life, and it's a true honour and privilege to stand here today as your best man. Dave is an incredibly popular guy, which was emphasised by the fact he had 26 lads come on his stag do, and it's fair to say that none of the lads here could live without his alter ego, the chairman, and his love of spreadsheets. Michelle, you're marrying an incredible guy. Kind, loyal. Dave, you're marrying a beautiful girl who somehow shares your love of banter. Everyone's got a drink today, come on. And I, on behalf of everyone here today, wish you both every happiness in your future together. Last of all, I just wanted to wish Dave and Michelle a lovely time on their honeymoon in North Wales. At least that's where I think they're going, because I asked Dave this morning what he's up to after the wedding, and he said he's going to Bangor for 2 weeks. sorry, Ron. Ask Diane permission, come on. Anyway, that's all from me, so, ladies and gentlemen, if you could all stand on your feet with me, and raise your glasses to the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Chittock.